You're listening to Pack Dynamics, a Fandom on the Rocks podcast. Hello, this is Pack Dynamics, a Teen Wolf podcast, a Fandom on the Rocks show? I always forget how we're supposed to do this. We're professionals. I'm Emily.
And I'm Allison.
And we're not supposed to talk about the show before we start recording, so we didn't. This is Season 3, Episode 13, Anchors. How did you feel about the show, this episode?
It is the tone shifts again.
Yeah.
The tone shifts again, and I'm not yet entirely sure how to feel about it.
Interesting.
So I listened to a Boy Meets World recap podcast with the cast, and when they move from a season that had like a really clear kind of vibe about it to a new season with a very different vibe, they called it a drop shock. They're going between seasons 4 and 5 right now, and they've called it something else that's a funny sounding word that I don't remember. But that's what I felt in this episode, because we just got out of 3A. I know how 3A feels and like who everybody is and where everybody's going. And like, it's only been, what do they say, like a couple of weeks?
Yes.
Since the end of 3A. And everything feels different.
It's supposed to be, well, the title or the summary is 3 weeks. And it's been 4 months since audiences saw the show.
Yeah, it feels more like 4 months than it does like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would say. Okay, so let me read the rundown. 3 weeks after saving the lives of their parents, Scott, Stiles, and Allison begin to suffer strange side effects from their ritual sacrifice. At the same time, the newly enlightened Sheriff Stilinski scours through old cases. This episode aired January 5th, 2014. So now we have entered the 2014s, because the previous episode, 12, was August 19th, 2023. 2013, yes. I keep doing that. You know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, but we just have to clarify. Yeah, I have a lot of feelings about his plot line. I have a lot of feelings just about where everybody's narrative is going. And I think for me, this is one of those setup episodes where they kind of have to readjust the mean. Because for me, like, so we get through 3A and it really feels like an ensemble show. Like, yes. Allison and Isaac have their stuff. Stiles has his stuff. Derek and Cora have their stuff. Lydia's got her stuff. Peter's got, Scott's got, everyone's kind of got their stuff, and they're all working together. And it feels like now they're like, hold on, but Scott's your main character.
Yes.
And it's totally. Like they took an ensemble show that grew into an ensemble show and then went, no, you have a protagonist. Be like, we do. And also it might have worked a little better as an ensemble show. And so it's
like, oh, right, our show is called Teen Wolf.
There's a one wolf that is a teen. And it's not to say that I don't like 3B Scott, because I sort of do. He has some feelings about Allison that I have feelings about. But it's like, it really feels like it's reallocating to like, it's the Scott show and his friends.
Yeah, who are serving his plot. Which like, is fine. He's the protagonist. Like, I get it. But they also give him the least amount of meat. My timeline is full of some folks who are like die-hard Scott people. And one of the ways that they've really been able to build community is like, Scott is almost entirely made of meta because the writers don't give him enough. They kind of have like a vague idea and it's up to you to kind of figure it out. Whereas with the other characters, they like explain it to you. Yeah.
And so you kind of have to just believe that they believe in Scott so that you believe in Scott. Like it's hard for me this episode.
And to that, this episode opens with Stiles, not Scott.
It opens with Stiles, not Scott, for like most of the cold open.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know that if it's fair to make any sort of arguments that any one of the three principles that their after effects from the Nematon are any worse, but Stiles is bad.
Yeah, they're all different. But they're all bad. Now, I do have to say, they set up some things here that come back. Now, I don't think this is them like, this is a thing I want to do in season 5. I should set it up in season 3. But it's a thing that they're like, oh yeah, we did that in season 3. It should come back in season 5.
Mm.
They like actually paid attention to their own writing, which I love. Love this for them.
Someone went back and did a reread and we're like, ooh, cool.
Like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I mean, that's good. I actually don't know that I watched season 5. I don't think I did.
We will. It's okay.
No, we will. I'm just thinking, like, do I know what this is? I don't think I know what this is.
Like when we get there, I can spoil it for you. It's not that intense.
Do the spoilies?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I had every intention of watching this episode twice before we recorded. And then I went out to dinner last night and didn't. So yeah. I just felt like there was a lot happening because it is kind of like its own season premiere.
It is. It really, really is. And they have to load so much because it wasn't for the audience a slow understanding of what they did and how it's affecting them. Mm-hmm. They have to kind of build it from scratch.
Yes. And there's a lot of fake outs.
And they spend more time on some characters than others.
There are entire characters flat out missing.
Deep sigh.
Which, you would never, well, I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I mean, who's coming into a TV show in the middle of a third season? But if you just happen to catch this, you're like flipping through the channels and you're like, oh, Teen Wolf. I'll watch an episode. You'd be like, I don't know that you'd have much of an understanding at all. You'd be like, the hails who?
Well, I think a lot of it kind of has to do with if you're a first-time viewer of this episode, which I don't think you would be.
No.
But I think it would be a weird cognitive dissonance kind of thing because the entire cold open focuses on Stiles. And then the intro sequence is like, oh, but that's Scott.
That's Scott, and look at all these other people.
Yeah, and it's just, I get it. What's happening to Stiles is really intense, and it's going to continue to be really intense throughout the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. But, it's not called Teen Witch, even though Stiles should be magic. Yes. It is, in fact, called Teen Wolf. And so, why they don't focus as much on Scott as they do on Stiles and Allison, it's such a choice. And I don't really understand it because they're, dragging us by the ear to be like, hey, Scott's your protagonist. I'm like, cool, so spend some time on him.
But it does seem like instinctually, and no shade to the Scott stans, instinctually the writers are just drawn to something that's more interesting on screen and page, and that just happens to be Stiles and Allison's storyline.
Yeah,
so you're typing
because what is happening to Scott, if you actually take the time to look at it and dive into it and kind of pull it apart, is really interesting. But instead they're just like, oh, I guess he's having some control issues. That's fine.
It could also be that we've done this before with him when he first became a werewolf.
Yeah.
Okay, he had control problems and then he solved them, and now he's doing it again, only it's worse this time because Alpha.
Yeah.
But it's not new.
No, but because with what's happening with Stiles and what's happening with Allison is new. Mm-hmm. And what's happening with Scott, you kind of have to dig through and be like, is it because this? Is it because that? And if all those ifs and thens become real, all of a sudden you're hit with a really interesting plot line is Scott coming to terms with he was bitten by Peter, who was some sort of mutant awful alpha. I'm an alpha now. Am I losing control like Peter did? Will mm-hmm. I become Peter? Will I become the creature of the night that I've always been afraid of? I'm losing control of that. That's a really interesting thing.
Yes.
But they don't actually say any of that out loud. And so we just kind of have to guess.
Grin and bear it.
We have to kind of guess. And that's just it's a little unfair to your protagonist, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was a weird confluence of choices. But
yeah,
we start with Stiles.
We do. He is, in bed having a little bad dream, whispering, "Don't let them in," kind of over and over. There's the light across his face are slash marks, claw marks, which is kind of cool. And then he wakes up and it looks like he is trapped in a coffin, given the camera angle. But it rights itself and he is trapped inside one of the locker room lockers.
I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that this season pretty much begins and ends in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
In a dream.
In a dream.
It's an interesting bookend. Again, it's an interesting choice.
Yeah. That locker room, man.
It's the rumor requirement. It is in all places. It is the only thing that matters.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in there. So he kind of gets out and he sees himself in the mirror, which I feel like mirrors become a motif in this season. I feel like there's quite a lot of them.
Probably.
And I also had a moment of the timing of this. Like, is this also when Dylan O'Brien is doing Maze Runner? Because the hair looks kind of familiar. But that's just an aside. So he's roaming through like the dark hallway of the school. A door is ajar. He walks through it. And the Nematon is in the middle of the classroom.
The Nematon Recta classroom.
Oh, and I couldn't quite piece which classroom it was. I just assume it was Mr. Harris's because reasons.
It's facing kind of the other direction. I think it's one of the non-chemistry classrooms. It looked to me like Coach's room. But I think Coach's room is also Mr. Yukimura's room, which is also Miss Blake's room. Like, I think it's just like
everybody's room.
The one with desks, not the one with tables.
Yep.
I think.
That one room. So he, seems drawn towards it. It's dark. It's a blue scene. And of course, he reaches out to like touch it. And my note here was just like, Stiles, don't touch it.
Don't touch that.
Vines like wrap around his hand. And then he wakes up.
Next to Lydia Martin.
Next to Lydia.
Good morning, Lydia. Happy Stydia Day to everyone.
I know. And I remember this being like, oh my God.
Yes.
The fuck?
Considering they're like 16 years old. Like, your parents wouldn't have allowed this. I promise. Also, it definitely made me think about how many people I know who like wear pajamas and how many people I know who don't wear pajamas. Like there's an entire market of pajamas.
Like people who are just freeballing it in bed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I've never been a freeballing it in bed.
I suppose. To each their own.
I mean, I get it. I'm too like, what if I have to like rush out of bed in the middle of the night?
Absolutely. If I'm ever like when I worked at college campuses and lived like in the dorms, you can't go to bed freeballing it. You cannot, because the fire alarm goes off at all hours of the day and night. Your pager goes off at all hours of the day and night. Like everything's just, you got to be ready.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Just imagining our house in Astoria.
Oh boy. Oh God.
Sharing bathrooms. Like, hey.
You
too? Okay.
Good morning.
Because it's always well lit with the skylights. You just be like,
oh yeah,
what's up?
Hey, how you doing? But yes, so I just had this entire like brainwave full of pajama related thoughts because everyone in that scene is wearing a lot of pajamas, for which I am grateful.
Yes, they are. I mean, we could have a whole podcast about like preferred pajama styles.
It's true.
We'll come back to it. So Lydia's there and Stiles starts talking about like, his dream. It was a dreams within dreams. And then he takes like a beat and really looks at her and from the couch, I was like, think about this, Stiles.
Think about it. Think about
it for a minute. And then he was like, what are you doing here? Like, yeah, exactly. Stiles, what the fuck is Lydia doing here?
She's trying to warn your ass is what she's trying to do.
And then his bedroom door creaks open.
And Lydia is like screaming and begging for him, like, just leave the door alone. Just don't open the door. Just don't open the door. But
she also doesn't want him to close it. Is that what she says, or did I miss that?
Well, no, like, because those are my notes. Stiles knows that Lydia shouldn't be there, and she tries so hard to get him to leave the door alone. Whose side is she working for?
Yeah.
Because she's asking him, like, leave the door alone. And Stiles gets up to say, like, I'm going to close the door. And the closer he gets, Lydia's screaming, no, don't touch it.
Exactly.
And then he opens the door.
Right.
Because he goes and doesn't close the door. He opens the door. And so, like, my brain is like, but didn't Lydia want him to leave the door alone? Yeah, Lydia wants him to close the door, but doesn't want him to touch the door because he's going to be stupid and opens it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very kind of confusing. Like, wouldn't Lydia tell him to close the door if she's, like, on his side?
Yeah, it was real weird, but she's just begging him, like, don't touch this door. Like, don't begged, like, don't do it. Don't touch the door. Don't open the door. And he does anyway. And my heart breaks. And then he ends up in the preserve and is having a real bad time because he's in the preserve, but all the lacrosse lights come on.
I know. I didn't like that. I was like, ugh, creepy.
No, absolutely not. And again, I am reminded of like that big, ridiculous windstorm that comes in. I'm like, oh, that's what happens in fic when Magic Styles gets overwhelmed and has a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Magic Styles, Magic Styles, Magic Styles.
And he's like, this is just a dream over and over. Wake up, Styles, wake up, Styles. And he wakes up in bed. And now it's daylight.
Good morning.
And the sheriff is there all peppy, telling him to get his ass to school. So he rocks up to school and he's telling Scott about his dream and how it felt like he couldn't wake up. And he's talking about sleep paralysis, which is where the mind, well, he describes it as the mind waking up before your body does, and you're awake, but you can't move. And he started talking about how he thinks that what they did with the sacrifice around Jennifer Blake is still affecting them.
The dying and all.
With the dying is still affecting them.
Styles and Scotty are just being like the absolute best of friends. Like Scott is like listening. He is super empathetic. He is like they're being great friends, great emotional support.
Very attentive. And we're in class kind of sitting down. He's like, you want to know what scares me the most? I'm not even sure this is real.
Yikes.
And Styles crashes awake for real, just screaming.
Night terror kind of screaming.
And that's when his dad rushes in to grab him and hold him to keep him from thrashing around.
And where my heart falls on the floor and shatters.
Yep. And that is the end of the cold open.
Dun dun.
Ba-dum. Is he actually awake now?
I think so.
We assume so.
So here we get the credits, and like in every season from here on out, the credits will change just a little bit to match the season. So things that change in the credits. Scott is now red-eyed as opposed to yellow-eyed.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. We get flashes during Tyler Hoechlin's card of Derek and then being replaced with a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
We get this mask.
Yeah.
This Japanese-looking mask, and then the very end is a little lightning storm in the clouds.
Spooky. I like the credits.
Oh yeah, I always do. It's really great.
And then we get a really fun scene of Scott and Isaac.
Okay,
it's fun.
I don't think it's fun. It hurts. It hurts in a bad way. Okay, I won't care for it.
It's okay. Sometimes I have like 9 minds about it. It's fun because they interact well together as actors. Like it's sometimes you just want like a quote unquote lighthearted scene.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see Mama McCall. It's fun to see them just like doing stuff that's not life and death. There's also a piece that's like, what in the toxic masculinity are you doing?
Yeah.
Physically fighting over a girl. That's not your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really, really hard to kind of be on anybody's side here. So before this whole interaction, so Scott is getting ready for school and living his dreams. And then he sees his hand's reflection in the shadow and his hand has claws on it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh my God, I can't control myself. And he looks down, but his hand has got no claws.
Yeah. Lots of shadow motifs too.
Yeah. So we're led to believe that like Styles is having like straight up hallucinating nightmares and Scott is hallucinating like his werewolfiness when it's not happening. Mm-hmm. That's what we're led to believe right this second. And Isaac kind of comes in. Well, Scott opens the door and Isaac's there. And they get this whole conversation about how Isaac is kind of sort of asking permission to be with Allison from Scott. And Scott's like, well, you didn't do anything, did you? Like Allison is his to control.
Yeah.
And then Isaac's like, well, I really think you should hit me.
Yeah.
Like, and then when Scott finally confirms that Isaac like really wants to get all up on that, he like throws him into the wall. Like, this is really hard for me to handle. It's just really hard for me to handle. Yeah, that's where my like, yeah, oh, because I want them interacting. I want them to be living in this house with Ms. McCall, like being a pack and a family. And I don't want them
living in this house, like not talking on
Right.
screen, because that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like,
Correct.
if we're meant to believe that Isaac is living in this house, they should be having like breakfast together. So I want scenes of them interacting, and I want it to be fun and not always life and death, and not always just advancing the plot because they have to train or they have to discuss the next plan with Chris Argent, right?
Right.
But yeah, arguing over who gets next with Allison is like, ugh.
Yeah, it just it doesn't feel good. And it happens a couple times in this episode and it just like doesn't feel great.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mama McCall yelling at them for breaking her walls. Great. That could be
Funny as hell.
used in a different context, right? Like,
That they're like
them-
chasing each other out of the house.
Yeah.
And that, could be great. Could be great. And Melissa is like swooping in to be the comic relief, but it's like the whole thing is just it's ugh, yikes.
Yeah. ugh.
So
Which is
Styles Styles is also prepping for school and he's packing up all of his books, but it turns out that he can't read them.
Mm-hmm.
That something's happening. Something's happening here.
Yeah. That is so scary.
Oh my God, it's so scary. This, I think, I'm like 94% sure comes back in like season 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because at one point, characters have to read something and something bad will happen, like in The Ring, but it's reading instead of watching a movie. But they figure out like some people, if you like tap into whatever, it's a whole thing. And I can explain it a little later in season 5 when we figure out why Styles can't read.
Okay.
But I think this does come back. But
Okay.
speaking of hallucinations, who else is having them? Miss Allison Argent.
Yes. So she is off to school. And my first note here, I was like, no backpack, no books, no notes, no nothing.
I mean, to be fair, it's always really hard for me to figure out what to bring to the first day of school. So, like,
Yeah, you have a backpack for all the shit you're gonna get.
I suppose. Doesn't she have her, like, little purse?
She's got her clutch that matches the outfit. Okay,
It's big enough for a crossbow.
for a crossbow, yeah. Completely unnecessary commentary that I wouldn't usually ask because I don't really care about people's appearances that much, and I don't think we really should comment on women's bodies. Her hair in this episode, not as good, not as cute.
It's a little flat,
It's a little flat. Yeah.
but I do love this sweater. So
Yeah, the sweater's great, but I was like, I've seen
Styles
better hair.
Styles also goes down in the hair department this season.
I know.
Scott,
Yeah.
upgrade.
Scott upgrade.
Scott
Styles and
continues
Allison.
to get better styled, better whatever.
Yeah.
He's getting up and up and up. But both Allison and Styles are a little bit of a downturn this season.
I know. I was like, well, last year was so cute and enviable, and this year I was like, okay.
It was 3 weeks ago. Have you not been? Are you doing okay? No,
Exactly.
you're hallucinating. Okay, well, I guess that's fine.
the Nematon's influence. I was like, damn, Teen Wolf stylists, I guess.
Like,
Which, okay, sidebar to sidebar. One thing in TV shows that I get why they do it, but annoys me is when characters have the same hairstyle like every day. No one does that. You just sometimes your hair is down, the next day you put it up. Like Lydia's
really
hair
bothers
never
me
looks
that-
the same.
it bothers me that they never repeat outfits.
Yes, that too.
Like, you're just, if you're telling me that you live in a 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan that's rent controlled and you're lying and you're desperately trying to not get out of it, you can't tell me that you wear a different outfit every day for 10 years.
Yeah.
Friends.
You've got what? Let's be 20 shirts, 20 tops. What are we talking? Like those
Maybe.
closets aren't big.
No.
Anyway.
It's, yeah.
And that's how you develop like a character that fan artists can draw is a consistent style, like a signature coat, a signature shoe, a signature whatever.
Something. Yeah. But this outfit for Allison is very iconic.
Mm-hmm.
This particular outfit of hers, this like teal and heart speckled sweater.
The silhouette is also very familiar.
Yes, absolutely. Because Allison's been really leaning into the like blouses and skirts for the last season or so. So this is, the silhouette, you're right, is very familiar.
Yeah. But yeah, so she gets into this elevator and the doors open up into the destroyed Beacon Hills Hospital hallway.
With its emergency weird green lighting.
Which I don't think is where she lives.
No. I don't
But
think so.
So she gets out of the elevator and there's like a real quick flash of herself walking behind her, which was cool.
Spooky.
Spooky. And then she takes a turn into that, I guess it was the morgue where the events of the Overlooked, was that it? Or Alphabet?
Yeah. Well,
Overlooked.
Because the door opens. It like goes
yeah,
and
that's
then
right.
Allison opens the door.
Yep. And there's like a long shadow on the wall behind her, kind of reminiscent of Scott's shadow coming up. And then one of the morgue drawers door opens, and on the tag it says Kate Argent.
Dun dun.
And we get flashbacks of Kate dying in the previous season. Well, previous season. And then Allison kind of dips her head inside the drawer, and it's just this endlessly long body drawer. And then suddenly, in a very horror movie fashion, flashes of Kate, zombie Kate, crawling fast towards her.
How very
and
the
Allison
ring
runs
of
away
her.
and then just ends up at the school.
Hello, Aunt Kate. I missed you,
With
even if
Lydia
you were
in front of her
screaming and
asking her if
clawing.
she is okay, which she is not at all.
Yeah. Hello, Aunt Kate. I missed you, even if you are screaming and clawing from the abyss like a fucking rat.
Where did you go?
I don't know. But she's back. Welcome back. But it turns out that Allie opens the door and makes it to school. Like, surprise. Good job, babe. And then it's Lydia who's checking in on her bestie.
I remember all the comments during this episode happening being like, Lydia, the most sane person all of a sudden.
Yes, because the next scene, well, not the next scene, because the next scene is the sheriff in his office with his own murder board.
Yeah, his brand new murder board.
Did Stiles learn that from the sheriff, or did the sheriff learn that from Stiles? Or did they both learn it from True Crime TV?
I don't know if like old school Law and Order and stuff had murder boards, but they were probably CSI guys, you know?
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, he's now got a supernatural murder board because he is going back through his old case files and trying to fill in the gaps in these maybe unsolved or problematic, troublesome cases now that he knows that he didn't know enough back in the day. And he pins a picture of a young girl up, and the name at the bottom is Malia Tate.
Hi, Malia.
And we'll come back to you.
So Lydia is at school and is rounding up the friends because she has decided, well, look who's no longer the crazy one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, what about Scott rolling up to school on his motorcycle?
Oh, of course, because Scott rolls up to school on his motorcycle and he's like walking to class and his giant mutant Peter Alpha shadow is all over the courtyard.
Yeah, just like this to me, it kind of reminded me of the Tasmanian devil.
Oh my God, yes. Absolutely.
And he just starts running through until he like runs into Stiles.
Everybody's having a bad day. And it's only going to get worse.
It's only going to get worse, you guys. And that Stiles is like, yeah, I'm seeing things too. And Lydia's like, yeah, you're all seeing stuff.
You're all seeing stuff. Welcome to the club of seeing stuff that isn't there.
Look who's no longer the crazy one.
You guys are fine.
You're fine, kids.
Like, I really love that Lydia is now part of the group.
Yeah.
Like, she's in now, and it feels so good.
It does.
I love it.
Yeah, because like she's there all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Just read her in.
Yeah. She's already read. She's finally read in. She's finally being trusted. She's finally figuring some stuff out, and we love this for her. Lydia Martin.
Babe.
My second born daughter, Lydia Martin.
So since it is the beginning of a season, sort of, 3B, they are pretending like they're going to go to class.
Yeah,
so
they're pretending.
We're pretending. So this is they have a new history teacher.
Because their old one got sacrificed.
He got sacrificed. We're not going to talk about it. This is Mr. Yukimura.
Yukimura. Mr. Yukimura.
Who moved to town 3 weeks ago.
Dun dun.
Troubling timing. And he mentions that his daughter, that everyone should know, which obviously they don't. Kira is also in the class, and he is just flat out embarrassing her in front of everybody.
And you as the audience have no idea where she is until she's sitting in the back row and she just drops her head on her desk like thunk. Oh my God, Kira. I love this character intro for Kira. She is just such a goober. And everyone turns around to look at her.
Of course.
Scott is ensorcelled.
Immediately. I'm of two minds about this, because one, it's like a cute meet cute, and at the same time, I'm like, does everyone have to be in a relationship all the time?
Like, I think because Kira, for reasons I don't understand, because I have apparently curated my dashboard, apparently Kira got a butt ton of hate when everything was first coming out, because she kind of stands in as a replacement for Allison.
Oh, sure.
And everyone was like feeling feelings about that, I guess. And I don't understand. I never saw any of the Kira hate. I don't go seeking it out. I love Kira.
I remember liking her.
She's different from Allison. And it's like, because she becomes, Scott's ensorcelled with her, everyone's like, but what about Allison? Like, what about Allison? Allison has moved on. Scott hasn't, but he might someday.
I mean, is it also because she's not white?
Maybe. That's probably it. That's probably it right there. But apparently she caused quite a stir in the fandom, and it was bad, and just get over it, because she's great.
Yeah.
And so cute, and such a silly goose, and I love her. Deal
with it. Yeah. He's all hard eyes, but his alpha shadow is growing.
Yeah. And Scott is just a little scared that he's turning into a monster because he looks like Peter. His shadow looks like Peter.
Sure does. Peter, who is somewhere?
He's alive. Last we checked.
Yeah. As alive as he is capable of being, having been dead.
Yeah. As alive as a zombie can be.
Yeah. So they are apparently taking electives now because they have a painting class. At least Allison and Lydia and Isaac take the same painting class.
Excellent.
And Allison's hand is shaking, which is
bad.
Not good for a marksman.
No.
And she admits to Lydia that it has been shaking for a little while. And there's like a little moment of paint splattering like a blood stain, which was pretty cool.
Yes, it was.
So that's not going well. And Isaac's lurking like a hale in the corner watching.
Dun dun.
So even if he doesn't live with them anymore, he has absorbed the hale tendencies of lurking.
Somebody's got to lurk.
Someone's got to lurk.
Someone's got to lurk.
I guess just to follow Allison and Lydia quickly. After class, I guess. Although who knows, with these two, they seem to come and go from class at will.
Yeah.
They go out
outside.
they go outside. It looks like out in the preserve to practice Allison's marksmanship, which is actually very kind of Lydia.
Yeah.
It seems like this was her idea to do. And Allison is just biffing it with her beloved bow and arrow. And Lydia has read up on archery, as she does.
Of course.
But Allison, off in the distance, kind of sees Kate Argent whispering in the woods. And then suddenly, it's just full dark time, and zombie Kate is out there coming for an attack, and Allison fires an arrow straight at Lydia, which Isaac happens to catch in the nick of time.
Good job, Isaac. This entire scene is like a carbon copy with very different feelings of a shot in season 1. So right after Lydia made out with Scott in Coach's office, and Allison was flirting with Jackson before the dance, the two of them go out to the preserve to do this same thing, to do target practice. And in that scene, Allison also kind of walks away into the woods. So this is part 2 of Allison's beautiful walks in the woods, except this one ends with a zombie and almost murdering Lydia.
Yeah, not great.
Not great.
So those are things aren't going well for anyone. So we have to go back into the school because Stiles and Scott are talking. And Stiles is like, things just like can't go back to normal. We hit this reset button on the supernatural beacon for supernatural creatures. Like, we kind of fucked up to defeat Jennifer Blake with the Nematon and our sacrifice. We know that we did this, and now these are the consequences. But he's also trying to open his locker lock with the numbers, and the numbers are shapes.
Yikes.
And he can't do it.
Bummer.
And then at the same time, Scott overhears Mr. Yokimura talking to Kira way down the hallway. And again, his eyes start to glow red, his little claws are coming out, and Stiles gets him into a classroom as he like starts to shift in the middle of the hallway.
Because like before it was just the shadows, but it wasn't actually happening. And now it's like the shadows, but it is actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
He is actively losing control of the monster. He's losing control of the shift.
He can't write it off as a hallucination. It is physically happening to him, and someone else has seen it. And Stiles kind of admits his nightmares, that he doesn't actually ever know that he's really awake. And he has a line that will come through the rest of the season about, you know how you can tell if you're dreaming, you can't read when you're dreaming. And he's been having trouble reading,
and Scotty is having what is basically a panic attack. Mm-hmm. And Stiles whisks him into a classroom, and Scott is trying so hard to both control the shift and protect Stiles.
Yeah.
Because all Stiles wants to do is help, and Scott just knows, like, if you get close to me, I will hurt you because I cannot control myself. So he starts to stab his hands with his claws, and he recalls pain makes you human. Thanks, Derek.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Everyone has just like, Scott has basically completely reset to like day one werewolfdom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so scary for him. A complete loss of control.
Yeah. And these are all the things that they like really prize about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Self-control, their brains, right? Their research skills, and then their abilities. And then with Allison, her marksmanship, her tactical skills.
Yeah. And her ability to compartmentalize emotions.
Mm-hmm. And
not when Aunt Kate is coming back from the grave.
Nope. Yikes. There is another quick scene with Isaac and Scott and getting thrown against the wall again.
Yeah, Scott's being violently territorial about Allison. I still don't think it's cute.
Mm-hmm. What is more important is Stiles we have a scene at the sheriff's department, and Stiles comes in with there's like this big ass flower arrangement. I was like, okay. But the sheriff is knee deep in old cases. Like, this man is on the floor sorting through like which ones could be supernatural. And Stiles is the one who's like, do you really want to like go down this path? Because like, what are you going to be able to do about it? What can you rectify? Like, if people are dead, they're dead. Can you reopen cases based on supernatural evidence? But there is a case from 8 years ago of a car wreck that killed a woman and her 2 kids. And one of the girl had been dragged out of the car by coyotes.
First of all, that's unbelievably graphic, Sheriff.
I know.
And I don't know if we actually needed that. The second thing is that Stiles opens one of the case files and talks about a bipedal lizard man.
I know.
And they're just like, Canamapile. Just like so like nonchalant about it. But the sheriff is
lizard men were in this town over the years.
Yeah. Just the one, right? I hope.
I hope.
But like the sheriff is convinced that this car crash was werewolf related because it happened on a full moon. But Stiles is asking different questions. He's like, yeah, it might be werewolf related. I don't know. But why are you going through all of this? Why are you trying to solve this? Where is it all going?
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that all of these case files are being sent to Agent McCall.
Detective douchebag.
For what reason would a federal agent get involved in like a county sheriff's office?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Is Agent McCall read in? Like, what is, I don't understand. But, you know, for the plot, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Why is he here? What's he doing?
I have no idea. It's real weird.
So, and again, like we were talking about at the very beginning, this episode is heavily Stiles because now we have Stiles kind of going into another class, but someone is sitting in his desk.
Yeah.
At his desk. In his desk.
Someone's sitting in his chair.
And he's like, hey, that's mine. But she responds with ASL because it looks like she's deaf. And so he's like, all right, I'll sit somewhere else. But everyone in that class is just staring blankly ahead. And Coach Finstock, hello, Coach.
Hi, Coach.
Is standing motionless at the front, and then he starts signing. And Stiles is like, I don't know sign language, and I didn't know you knew sign language.
Everything about this is odd for me.
And it's so creepy. It's like, it's not quite a blue scene, but it's very washed out.
Yeah.
And then he snaps awake in class. A real class.
A real class. And he looks to Scott. And he looks to Scott. It's like, oh man, I just fell asleep. And Scott goes, dude, you weren't asleep.
No. And
Stiles is now having like waking hallucinations.
Yep. And his notebook is full of writing of just wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Ugh. Yikes.
So the gang is outside. I'm assuming during lunch.
Yeah, it looks like a lunch table.
Having a little chit chat about what, near-death experiences will do to them. Except I think these are full death experiences.
Oh yeah, they're definitely full death experiences.
Like they died.
Died. Lydia and Isaac were both present. They should know this.
I do love Isaac's line about, for half my childhood, I was locked in a freezer, so being helpful is kind of new for me.
And I love as Stiles and Isaac are arguing, Scott just like drops his head in his hands like, my boyfriends are fighting. Stop it.
Mm-hmm. But here we have Kira coming up to the table because she has just been fully eavesdropping on this very loud conversation.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have some ideas that I'd love to share with complete strangers about this Tibetan word, bardo, of an in-between state between life and death, where you can be visited by deities. And the last state is death.
Death. You die.
You die.
Thanks, Kira.
For realsies. And I guess, again, because they already died. And how do you not... I mean, if this actually happened in real life, I think I'd be really annoyed. Like, excuse me, who the fuck are you? But when you're watching it in a TV show, you're like, how adorable. Like,
exactly.
She doesn't know these people. They're talking about, like, actively dying in tubs of ice water. And she's like, hey, I could help. I might know what's up.
I just want to help my new friends. I just want to be of assistance. I love her.
And, her dad embarrassed the shit out of her in front of everyone. And she's still like, hey.
Yeah.
And that's admirable.
Yeah. So Kira brings up Bardo. And of course, Lydia already knows about it. And then Kira talks about like peaceful and wrathful deities. And the table goes, wrathful deities, what are those? And Kira goes, like demons. And then Stiles goes, demons. Why not?
Demons.
Yeah, Stiles, get used to demons.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
They coming.
There's a coming.
Them demons coming.
But
yeah. Speaking of demons?
No, speaking of really helpful information to move the plot along.
Yeah. Okay. But information that might have been valuable when they were choosing to do the thing that they did. So they go to Dr. Deaton with this information, and he's like, it sounds like your subconscious is trying to communicate with you.
And he is, once again, being just strangely helpful at the most opportune times. Thanks, bud.
Thank you. He happens to know a little sign language because, of course, he does. And he translates what Stiles saw in his waking nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's, when is a door not a door? And he's like, hey, when you did that sacrifice, you like opened a door in your mind, which is bad.
That's bad.
And you're going to have to close that door in your mind, which is just Harry Potter's legilimency, but that's fine.
It's fine.
We'll get Snape on the case.
It's cool, guys. So again, like I was talking about in the beginning of the podcast, so Stiles has been having hallucinations and nightmares, and they all involve doors, right? Mm-hmm. He's walking through a bunch of doors. He's trying to close them, but they're like, he's opening them instead. Allison, we see in her hallucination towards the hospital that the morgue door opens, the drawer door opens.
Mm-hmm.
So this theme is coming through, but not with Scott.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know, like, why did they think it was a good idea to exclude Scott from this conversation? Like, is it because he's a werewolf that his like weird post-death stuff is just different than the humans? Is it because they thought it was self-explanatory? Like, this would have been a very cool thing to have actually brought all the way through. And it's I think for me is why Scott feels like such an outlier in this thing. Because especially as, you know, and I'm looking forward to like seeing the season with fresh eyes to see how badly it does end up affecting Scott long term. But this whole curse thing affects both Stiles and Allison harshly long term.
Yeah.
And sure I don't know if it does for Scott. And like it feels, something about it feels off. And I don't really know why. And maybe I'm missing something. If you are a Scott person and have better insight or meta or something to kind of help explain what's going on with Scott, we would love to hear from you, because I'm not getting it from the source material.
Nor am I. His door could be a doggy door.
I mean, it could be, but I think that's a season 5 problem. Again, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's like, I don't know. I just keep wondering if the writers just found Stiles and Allison more interesting and were like, oh shit, we have to go back to Scott.
Yeah, but like there is stuff there with Scott. They gave us the crumbs. They just had to think on it more. They had to commit. And it's not that they were out of ideas. Scott and Stiles and Allison both have like things that happen. And I don't know. I don't know.
It's the forever mystery.
It's definitely a mystery. I'm blaming Jeff Davis. Let it ride.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll find something. I don't know.
Stiles is unhappy that his subconscious is giving him riddles.
Well, who wouldn't be?
Honestly.
Who wouldn't be? Yeah. So, well, they're leaving, and the sheriff comes up because he's looking for Scott's help about the Malia Tate case, because he thinks if Scott can get a lock on Malia's scent, the dead girl, he can find her body finally and maybe give her surviving father some peace.
Yeah. And solve the case for Agent McCall.
And he still actually wants to like catch this murderer, even though he thinks it's probably a werewolf.
Yeah.
And of course, Scotty's like, yeah, we'll help.
Yeah. We got you.
We got you. So they roll up to the Tate farm, the Tate household.
The Tate residence.
And you know, there's a little conversation about like, oh, the coyote population is up.
Yeah. I got me a coyote problem, like I'm sure you do.
And I honestly don't know about coyotes in Northern California. I don't care that much.
Probably. That seems like a reasonable place for them to be.
Yeah, sure. So the sheriff talks to Mr. Tate so that the boys can sneak in and find something for Scott to sniff. But all he's getting is the smell of a dog, because there's a dog in the house.
There's a dog.
Yeah.
And then this is the comic relief we've been waiting for all episodes, Scott and Stiles versus the dog.
Yeah.
And I just didn't find it funny.
No,
I wanted to find it funny. It was set up like it was supposed to be funny, and I just didn't laugh the entire time.
No, it was a little juvenile, like, hi puppy, like, yeah, getting chased out by a dog. Actually, probably would have worked better if his wolf powers did work on the dog. Like, why wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
So after this is when we find out that the sheriff wants to solve one while he's still sheriff. Cut to Scott yelling at Detective McCall.
As he should.
Whose name I think is like Raphael.
Yeah, it's Raphael.
Rafe, yeah.
Yeah, because they call him Rafa.
Rafa, that's right.
Which is spelled R-A-F-E.
Yep. And he is really just trying to get the sheriff fired. He is conducting a case for impeachment for the lack of resolution of cases, which the sheriff is now actively like working on because they're all supernatural.
Yeah, because they're literally all supernatural.
Mm-hmm. But obviously, Scott is just raging out against his deadbeat dad. I mean, he's not been around.
Yeah, but he hasn't been around for a reason.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We don't know it yet in the show. He's just not been around.
Yeah.
And Melissa notices that Scott is wolfing out. He is losing control. And she very rightfully leads him away. And I really like this scene.
It's so nice to finally have Mama on the team.
Yeah.
Like, she's the best.
because she is like, you have to be your own anchor, which I think is a great message.
When this came out, I think this speech kind of shook the fandom to its core. In 2014, I was 24 years old, 23, 24. I was kind of in the middle of graduate school. I was feeling completely unmoored. I didn't know where I was. I hadn't had a steady boyfriend in years. I was just like floating in this place where I didn't feel like I belonged. And this message shook my world. I think it shook a lot of people's worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You fall in love more than once.
Mm-hmm.
You have the capacity to be your own anchor. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's a great message, especially because, a lot of the show, or at least with Scott, is like, Allison is my one true love. And
right.
Like, you guys are 16.
One true loves are great. And also you're 16.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I really liked this because she wasn't being disparaging. She wasn't being condescending. She was just like, I'm an adult. I've done this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not. She didn't say this, but it's all in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I might not be a werewolf, but like, I'm a grown woman. You're gonna be good.
It's gonna be okay. I promise.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't seem like it, even though it feels like a monster, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Which it is eventually. Which leads to Scott bursting into Stiles' room, a la the pilot.
We're gonna find a body, a dead body. Scott. For a hot minute, I didn't know if this was a dream or not because I
didn't either.
Is this the pilot? Hold on.
Yeah, I was like, what a great callback. So they're out in the preserve. So he's tracking something on his phone because they are looking for the car from the accident from 8 years ago, which I guess the police department just left.
Yeah, that's odd.
I think that's odd because that car would have been evidence that they would have taken to an impound lot.
Yeah.
From the police department.
Correct.
And like, why would there be something to track on his phone? Did they get the location of the car, like the GPS
like
location?
The map or something? I don't. It's very odd because if this was a police case, then
they would have taken the car for evidence.
They would have taken the car in for evidence. Like, it's the whole thing is weird. But
like, oh, it's too expensive to take from the woods. Like, I
don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Anyway, so they find the car and there are just giant claw marks in the side that looks like a werewolf did it.
Yep.
And somehow a baby doll is still in the car, not fully destroyed after 8 years in the woods, but it's plastic, so I guess that's cool.
Yeah.
And it goes off with this little, like, I'm hungry, like, terrifying.
And the whole reaction is correct because dolls like that make noise are the absolute worst.
Awful.
Absolutely
horrible.
Not. Absolutely
no one
not.
needs those.
No one needs that.
The worst. But then they hear growling and they see glowing eyes in the trees behind them. And Scott obviously just takes off running after it.
And he's so fast and doesn't have to run on all fours to catch this coyote.
That is nice.
He has finally learned how to be werewolf fast on 2 legs. Thank you, Scott. Good job.
Mm-hmm. But it's a coyote.
Yeah. And he leaps over this like chasm in the ground.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. It's incredible.
And he glows his little alpha eyes at it, and the coyote's eyes glow blue.
They glow black. They glow back. They glow back.
And he's like, Malia?
So we now believe that this were-coyote is Malia. Mm-hmm. And everyone is like a little shaken because like, we didn't think she was a were-creature. Hold on a second. We didn't know the coyotes could be werewolves. Hold on a second.
So, questions.
Yeah. So maybe it's Malia.
Maybe.
So we then have to go in to Allison and Isaac getting like hot and heavy in Allison's bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both talking about Scott.
Yeah. Weirdly.
Like, I'm going to point everyone listening to the Ships We Wish Sailed bonus podcast that will probably come out before this episode does.
Oh, 100%.
On Patreon.
So go back and find that.
So, because in it, I I have such strong feelings that like Scott and Allison and Isaac should have been a throuple and it should have been canon. The amount of times they do stuff like this drives me nuts. But they're both talking about Scott. And, you know, is he okay with this? Like, have you talked to him? As they're like making out and like bumping and grinding. And so Isaac like comes up and takes his shirt off. And then all of a sudden there's somebody like behind. And Allison's like, what's that around your neck? And Isaac's like, what's around my neck? Turns out it's a garrote. And we come up to find Kate Argent like strangling Isaac with a garrote while he's like half naked at Allison's bed. Let's do him, Allison. Let's do him together.
Ugh.
Like, Kate Argent is such a fucking predator.
Ugh.
Like, this is now, I think, the third time in canon that she has made sexual advances and inclinations towards like high school boys.
Yes.
Stop it. So Allison, understanding that she's panicking, wakes up out of bed. She's like panicking. Because in the dream, you know, Kate's like, let's do them together. And Allison like pulls out her ring knife from like under the covers and she's like, the fuck? So she wakes up and she and Lydia are just like snooze-a-loozing in bed after having ignored their physics homework.
Yep.
But surprise, she reaches down and the ring knives are still in her bed.
Oops.
How much of that was real? How much of that was real?
Yeah.
Speaking of Kate Argent and torture devices.
My note section here starts, meanwhile, a dungeon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Derek's phone is buzzing with texts from Scott asking for help.
Hey, help.
Hey, we got something. And the camera just pans up a row of just bloody torture instruments. And they're stringed up.
At the
Can't say
end
their
of this,
lies.
At the end of this line of torture devices
are Derek and Peter.
Hi, Derek and Peter.
Tied to a chain link fence inside some sort of warehouse or dungeon.
Yeah, it's a dungeon for sure.
All abs getting electrocuted and tortured by an unseen figure.
Why are you looking at me like this is my fault? Because it is your fault. Yeah. You're probably right.
A+ dialogue, no notes.
No notes.
Incredible.
So we know now that Derek and Peter are both alive, and we know that they are used as nothing but eye candy for this whole episode. It was plot, eye candy.
Yeah. We know that Derek didn't make it to wherever he was going.
Yeah.
Or didn't got dragged back.
Maybe, yeah.
Don't know where Cora is, but I guess they were working out in the off season.
Yeah, that's just what they were doing. It was all abs all the time.
I mean, I'm not fully mad about it.
I'm not mad about it, but I'm also like, this is at least the second time this show. So at least the second time in this calendar year that you have been strung up and electrocuted by someone trying to torture you. Like, Derek, middle name Hale, what are you doing?
It's so bad. Just, I think, for the audience to have a little peek. Because I think you could do this with their shirts on.
For sure. But once again, we are doing the like all female gaze, all Derek Hale all the time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like,
and now Peter's in on it.
Okay, but like, why?
Listen,
I'm not complaining, but I have questions.
I got questions. Yeah.
So
that's how this episode ends.
Yeah. Dun. So that's the start of season 3B. Woo! Everybody's in the club having a bad time.
Yeah, no one is happy. Well, I guess Kira's happy.
And
Lydia's chilling.
Lydia is finally not being tortured for the first time in 3 seasons. We love this for her.
Yeah, she's vibing. Listen, leave her out of it. Actually, you know what? Don't include her in her shenanigans. Leave her alone.
Just let Lydia go to a spa. Let her take a week off. Just let her be. Let her be alone.
Leave her alone.
But yes, the dynamics have definitely shifted again. The tone has shifted again. And I'm looking forward to kind of, seeing this whole thing from tip to tail again, because especially I'm going to be looking at kind of Scott's injury from his sacrifice and seeing if it matches Styles's and Allison's.
Yeah.
Like, how long do those things go on? What's the end game? Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can't go back and change it, but we can see if this time around, it's watch it with a different approach. We can
just
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, just knowing what we know now, can we go back and put the pieces together that I couldn't find the first time?
Yeah. Yep. And maybe Scotty doesn't have it so easy.
Maybe he's struggling just as bad as everybody else, but I just didn't see it the first time.
I don't think he is.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Not that I want him to struggle. I'm just saying that, the others have it worse.
But I do really want to watch him get ensorcelled by Kira.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
She's a cutie, and Scott's like lovesick puppy dog face is the best.
Yeah.
It's real cute.
I like her.
I do. I love Kira.
Not that I will also always make the argument that sometimes characters don't have to be in relationships.
Correct. Sometimes you can just be a person.
Yes. I will fight that fight until I die. It never works out. It never happens in TV shows. There's never the single person who's happy, but
no. I
will fight that fight.
Someday.
I have to write it myself.
Do it.
No, I know what happens when people try to have writing careers in TV. Absolutely not. Not crazy.
Fair enough.
No.
But we made it. We made it to 3B. We did it.
What's up, 3B? Yeah, I'm excited to rewatch and see how it pans out.
I'm excited for us.
I'm a Styles bitch, so I'm going to miss Derek.
I'm excited to meet the big bad of 3B.
Yeah.
Gonna mess me up real bad.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the color palette of this season is. Is it still blue?
I think it's still blue.
Because I have some memory of like a beige.
Season 4 starts off pretty beige.
Okay.
The sepia tones.
The sepia.
Season 5, for whatever reason, is green.
Okay.
And there's one particular scene in season 3B that's white. And you try to include scenes from that into like other gift sets. You're like, oh boy, this is a very different color. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
But
okay, I did just a real quick search, and there's a Tumblr post talking about color theory, and someone is suggesting that 3B is like a metal, like white silver metal.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, and that season 4 is earth, like yellow, orange, sepia.
Yeah. I can see that too.
But they do say 3B is kind of weird in defending the theory that it's like kind of hard to stick, but it, metal.
Well, it's one of those things that like the whole point of season 3 is that you don't know what's real because they don't know what's real.
Right. Yes.
And so it's really hard to I can imagine from a producerial perspective, like to try to keep a consistent color theory when real life and dreams the color theory would give it away.
Yes. Yeah. If you were very distinct in your color theory, you would just be like, this is a dream. This is real life.
And so you kind of, by the very nature of the like unreliable narrator that is season 3B, you can't really have a consistent thing. But, especially as we sort of establish who the big bad is and how that character shows up, there is a lot of white, there is a lot of gray, there is a lot of metal, a lot of like silver and kind of like oxidized onyx. It's gunmetal. So yeah, there's a lot of that happens throughout the season, but you kind of have to get there first.
Sweet. Okay.
So for sure. Interesting.
We'll keep eyeballs out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for hanging with us. We're excited to get through 3B. If you want to hang with us on the internet, we're at Fandom on the Rocks. If you want to support the podcast and get all sorts of bonus episodes and content, that is patreon.com/fandomontherocks. And we hope you have a lovely week because you deserve it. And we'll see you next time.
Ow!
You've been listening to Pack Dynamics, a Fandom on the Rocks podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. You can follow us online at Fandom on the Rocks. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can subscribe to our Patreon account at patreon.com/fandomontherocks. Subscribers get access to ad-free content, exclusive bonus episodes deep diving into fandom, and more. So until next time, keep your pack close.